Hi there, you're in the Beat Sessions. I'm your host, Mitchell Weary. Let's talk about Josh Tillman, aka Father John Misty, and his new album, Chloe and the Next 20th Century. He released that on April 8th. This is the fifth studio album for Josh under the moniker of Father John, and it follows 2018's God's Favorite Customer. This man is outstanding, a remarkable singer-songwriter, and he's one of those guys where if you have eclectic taste in music, there's so much payoff with every new project he puts out because you just don't know what you're going to get. I do like that the major foundation of his music is indie folk. I like that influence in the way that it's the driving factor, but he captures Americana in such a brilliant way. And I think the most important thing about his music is the way that he opens up Americana and experiments with it. And this new record is such a fine example of that. And it might be the best example to date in his career under the moniker of Father John anyway. But go back to last century, think of the 40s and the 50s and all the sounds that were dominating those decades. Think of the jazz standard, big band, traditional pop. I love the way that he's working in country western into the sound on this record, and a big sound at the time in the 40s and 50s as well. A little bit of blues and a little bit of folk on this record as well, but just a marvelous combination of sounds and truly a testament to his ability to do this seamlessly. He makes it seem effortless. He's just such an incredible songwriter, and lyrically, I like what he's doing as well. He's definitely venturing into some interesting territory, a bit sardonic on this record, humorous but kind of dark. There's this noir element to this record for sure, and a genre that was very dominant in the 40s and 50s. It's an interesting contrast when you look at film and you look at literature. I think of a number of different movies and a number of different books that provide an interesting contrast to, I guess, a lot of the kind of like lighter musical elements that were going on at the time. So I dig that that's going on in this record. I think it's a great contrast. I think it works really well. I thought of a film, Far From Heaven, contemporary film, but that movie, it captures a lot of kind of that like bright, kind of just surface level stuff that was going on back then in the decade, and then getting into the nitty gritty, really digging into some of that darker content on this record. And that's what I really admire most about Josh on this particular project, the way that he's balancing that light instrumentation and these compositions with that dark lyrical content. This thing, it kicks off with Chloe, and I really like the way that the album title it comes together and the tracks actually make the title, bookend it. It starts off with Chloe and then it ends with the Next 20th Century. I really think creatively that's a cool feature on this record. And Chloe has got this classic pop feel, bit of jazz to it, this lush string arrangement, and then there's this cool bridge where this horn arrangement takes over. I really like the way that that's put together and the way that it works in and out of the song. Song is a great indication of what you're going to get for the most part on this record. Leads into Goodbye Mr. Blue, your second song, and I like the way that you're getting a strong country folk influence. It's a very much a change of pace, but it gives you an idea of the way that these two sounds are going to come together. Light country, light folk. Think of Willie Nelson and Chris Christopherson, some of the lighter stuff that they did during their careers. But I like this song. I like the way that it sets you up for that other element that's going to work into this record. Kiss Me, I Loved You, your third track. It's got this hollow percussion, this tiny bit of a doo-wop feel. And I got to mention the drumming on this record. Josh, an incredible multi-instrumentalist, but he's an amazing drummer. Drummed for Fleet Foxes for 4 years amongst all the other things that he's done in his career. So it never surprises me that the percussion on all of his records is outstanding. And this particular track, one of my favorites as far as that. Everything But Her Love is your fourth track. This is where I started to hear a little bit of Elliott Smith. It's got this great acoustic riff that's driving the song, and I like the way the strings work around this particular track as well. Buddy's Rendezvous, your fifth song. It's got this sultry jazz intro, and then it works into this mellow pop feel. I like the dynamic there and the way it shifts almost immediately in that track. It's a very cool feature there. Q4, your sixth song, and this is actually going to end the first disc. You get the end of the B-side. This is a double disc package that you're going to get here. So I like the way that this song picks up the energy. There's a bit of a bossa nova feel. It's got lots of lush orchestration. There's a harpsichord that's very dominant on this track as well, a bit of a psychedelic influence, and it's a great way to cap off the first disc on this record, and it hints at the way the second disc is going to start off with Olvidado, Otro Momento. It's got a massive bossa nova feel. I really like the way the energy of this second record and the way it kicks off with this track. Leads into Funny Girl, which is going to pull back the pace. It's mellow. It's got this jazzy pop feel and just a hint of blues. You don't get a lot of blues on this record, but this is one of the tracks where you get just a bit of it, and I love the way that it just made that track feel. Your ninth song, Only a Fool, is country meets classic pop. A lot of similarities in the two genres, a lot of the different things going on, but as far as nuances, they both have their own different features, which, make them distinguishable. And it's great to hear all those different nuances and the way that Josh brings them together on this track. And then you get a little steel guitar as well, and it gives this song kind of an island vibe. A lot of people don't realize it, but that steel guitar, often referred to as a Hawaiian guitar. And, it's really cool when you look at the trajectory of country music and you see the history of the way that steel guitar was worked into a genre of music that was developed quite a ways away on on the mainland. It's just one of those things that music is so special to me for that reason. And, anyone that wants to talk about the way that sounds are appropriated in that stuff, throw that out the window. This song is a fine example of the way that over time we all have a way of, being influenced by different musical sounds. They're all going to resonate with us, and they're going to resonate with us differently. And it's just, this song is a fine example of what makes music so incredible and so dynamic. Really like the way that it leads into We Could Be Strangers, your 10th track, a little on the dark side. I dig the walking bass on this track. Beautiful melody, but it's a little dark, and a great penultimate track, which leads into the next 20th century. This song is the best song on the record, without a doubt. It's incredible. It's got a very different feel. There's times where it's just full on rocking out, but it's an amazing song lyrically. Very powerful. I'm really not going to go into it. I think lyrical analysis are kind of boring to begin with, but check it out. Pull up the lyrics, read along with it while you're listening to the song, because I think it'll just make it that much more powerful. But it's an amazing way to wrap up an incredibly unique record, a marvelous record too. It's just the way that Josh was able to take all of these sounds that are bordering on 80 years old. It's crazy to think that this music has been around that while, but he's given it this contemporary feel. These songs, they sound like they came out 80 years ago, but they also sound like they came out today, because they did. And it's just a testament once again to how strong of a songwriter he is. And I love this project, Father John Misty, as well. So we're going to vinyl please this thing. I hope you enjoy this record. Hope you find this review helpful as well. Please like this video, share it, subscribe to the channel, do all the things to help me blow this project up in 2022. And we will see you next time on the Beat Sessions.